Have you heard about Jesus yet?
Saw him crucified, if that's what you mean.
The one you saw die is now alive and among us.
Little early to be nipping, don't you think?
I assure you, I speak the truth.
Lies! They're all lies!
I assure you, I saw him. Check the tomb yourself.
What do you think I'm doing here? Leave me alone.
Why is it so hard to believe? Don't you realize that
I spit on him. Okay? I spit on him! He can't possibly be the Messiah. Leave me alone! What are you looking at? You heard me. I spit on Jesus. Hey, I believed. I laid palm branches down before him when he rode into Jerusalem. I exalted him. I praised God for sending us the Messiah. I was sure. I was sure this was the right time. But when I saw Pilate lead out Barabbas and Jesus, I knew he was a fake, a fraud. So did everyone around me. He was a giant scab. He had shards of flesh hanging off his back, his head puffed up around those thorns digging into his scalp. His whole face was puffed up. He was drenched in blood. Come on! Who in their right mind would see him as the Christ? God would never allow his Messiah to go through that kind of punishment. Everyone else around me knew it. I wasn't alone in this. The punishment of God was on him. I was furious. All my hopes destroyed, my faith crushed under the weight of this Roman occupation. I was mad. Everyone else around me felt the same way. I wasn't alone in this. It wasn't like I had this one-man crusade. We all felt the same way. We felt betrayed. As they led him to Calvary, strapped to that beam, he passed right by us. The anger and the resentment towards this man was pungent. People were screaming, spitting, cursing, yelling. Everyone else spit on him. Why not I? I felt like a fool for having believed in him. I watched his crucifixion from the distance because the mob was just too thick. But then, as I watched him die, it got dark and gloomy. There were peals of thunder and bolts of lightning streaking across the sky. It was like God was upset over this man's death. And then to hear this rumor that he's alive. I mean, come on. I refuse to go through the rest of my life with that kind of weight and that kind of condemnation. I can't do it.
But that is precisely why he died. He died so that you and I could be forgiven. He was God's ransom for us. No more weight, no more condemnation, no more sin. He died to set us free.
You don't understand. I didn't offer this man a cup of water. I spit on him in his most extreme suffering.
I did worse than that. But I was there when he died. Do you know what some of his last words were? He said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do."
Please don't. That can't possibly be right.
I swear, it is the truth. That was his mission. The perfect Lamb of God bearing our punishment so we could stand forgiven and blameless before God.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. Why? Why would you do this thing for us? For me? I do not deserve such mercy.
That's why it's called grace. God's grace. None of us deserve it. come, let's share some bread. I have many things I need to tell you. My name is Peter.
You are most kind. Forgive me. I'm usually not so emotional. It's been a rough week.